For thousands of years, humans have been using science and technology to cure disease, reverse the effects of aging, and ultimately live longer. And it's working. In the last 150 years, the average American lifespan has doubled. Eventually, of course, we all still die. But Zoltan Istvan is trying to change that. He's the founder of the Transhumanist Party, a new political group that wants to use technology to overcome death and improve human abilities. This year, Zoltan is running for president of the United States. His platform? Vote for me, and you could live forever. We're headed into Mill Valley, which is a little bit north of San Francisco, and is probably the cutest small town in the entire world. I mean, this is a place where everything is pleasant. We're going to see Zoltan Istvan, who is the head of the Transhumanist Party and is the presidential candidate that they've put up. We know that Zoltan's not going to win the presidency of the United States. So what's the point of running? And what does he think he can actually get out of this?
Currently, I'm not really doing anything in my day-to-day life that's, I would say non-traditional. I'm actually just a real normal guy and have a normal family. But a number of people, especially religious people, have said that my party represents the work of the Antichrist, or maybe I am the Antichrist.
Just so we get it on the record, you're not the Antichrist, right?
I'm not the Antichrist.
Okay.
Transhumanism is an international cultural and social movement, probably made up now of millions of people, that want to use science and technology to radically improve the human being and also improve the human experience. It could be anything from bionic hearts to cranial implants to driverless cars, but it's all transhumanist technology. Living indefinitely, or at least controlling when we die, is potentially the most important goal of transhumanism.
Zoltan seems like a nice dude, but he holds some wild positions. He told us he'd edit the genomes of his own children, and he believes that today's tech moguls want only the best for humanity. His faith in technology is absolute, but I get the impression he hasn't totally thought through every position. His ideas are going to be a tough sell for anyone who's not in the Transhumanist Club.
I'm here to talk to you about transhumanism and in my presidential campaign. We have 6 billion religious people on the planet that are not sure that they either want to live indefinitely or that they need this technology or science to change their lives because they're planning on some afterlife. Whatever your beliefs are, we need to push this forward because we have the ability to solve death, we have the ability to eliminate suffering, we have the ability to make it so you can live indefinitely with your family, but it has to be through science and technology. It can't be through faith.
Lots of people want to live longer, but Zoltan wants the government to go all in by cutting funding for wars and devoting it to life extension science, deregulating new technologies, and turning the government into a high-tech research lab.
We want to become full of powers, where you can have a merging of the flesh with machines so that you might be uploaded into a machine. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways that transhumanism can unfold. I'm a big believer that in the next 20 years, we're probably going to come to a point when we might actually be able to overcome human mortality.
Wouldn't mind living forever.
I know, and it's not just that, it's having better health. If you want to communicate in a different method, there'll be cranial implants, we'll have exoskeleton suits.
Zoltan may not pose a real threat to the major parties, but that's not stopping him from trying. He's about to embark on a cross-country bus tour to spread the message of transhumanism with a bus shaped like a 40-foot-long coffin. And today he's hoping to lock up an endorsement from a big tech publication. How important is it for you to get endorsements from, major publications or blogs?
I would say it's incredibly important. I think it would be a signal that not only is this for real, but real people are getting behind it that have real power in the media.
The Verge is one of the biggest science and technology websites in the world, and they have tended to cover issues very deeply, things like transhumanism, among other big topics. So he wants to get The Verge to endorse his candidacy as a way of just sort of reaching his natural, target audience.
Who are you and why are you running for president?
My name is Zoltan Istvan, and
what's your real name?
It's Zoltan Istvan.
Okay. Can you sketch out what your platform is?
We're trying to spread a pro-science attitude amongst the American people. We're promising the public that we're going to make them live longer.
What does the Bible say about transhumanism? Have you found any good passages you can wave? about cyborg implants.
No, it doesn't say very much about transhumanism at all. There's a conflict there between formal religion and transhumanism. I've even advocated for a trauma chip where, for example, a number of children die every year from drowning in pools because their parents aren't watching. But if you had a trauma chip inside and it just went off and notified authorities, maybe people's lives could be saved.
I mean, Americans just hate science so much. I worry that you're going to sort of show up and say, "Hi, my name is Zoltan, and I'm here to talk about science," and America's going to just grab a rifle and tell you to go back to wherever you came from. You're a politician. You have to sell people hope. You have to somehow tie this into the greatness of America, which you didn't do at all.
And I guess what I'm curious about is how you think these ideas are going to play sort of outside this bubble.
The real answer for me is that we have to try just to see. Not everything's going to go well. You just got to take it as it is and move on. I'm going to go through dozens more meetings here in the next few months. I got to hope that one or two of them are going to end up being home runs.
And what about your wife? How bought in is she to transhumanism?
She's supportive of it, but she also realizes it's taking a real toll on our family life. I mean, I'm now busy all the time. I think the other main thing we're giving up is finances. You have to spend your own money on your campaign for sure. It's not just other people's money. That said, she has been supportive, and I'm very thankful I'm married to her because she has allowed me to pursue my dreams.
Watching the way that this candidacy has upended his life, watching the way that wanting to promote transhumanism makes his life harder, actually makes me more sympathetic to his cause. He's not a guy who's doing it for any reason other than he really believes it. Undeterred by his setback at the verge, Zoltan gathers his political advisors to prepare for an upcoming rally.
My goal for the rally today is to, have a great union where we come together and show a kind of transhumanist spirit. But on a practical level, what I really want to do as well is hand out some bumper stickers, some business cards, and actually engage a little bit with the public and see if we can get anyone to just talk about how they feel.
In my opinion, transhumanism is common sense. It's really good to live, and it's really bad to die. That's it. It's that simple. Aging is the main killer. It destroys the lives of 100,000 people a day, and this is really, really sad.
If we could quadruple the amount of money going into life extension science, we could change the world.
I think it's important also that we remind people that human beings have pursued longer and healthier lives for thousands and thousands of years. Toothbrushes are life extension devices. When you don't lose your teeth, you can eat longer. When you eat longer, you can live longer. Healthy lifespan has always been something that human beings have pursued. The only difference is that today we've got more knowledge than ever and better technology than ever.
I'm really excited about this. Hopefully this is something that'll make a big difference.
Zoltan's ideas might be on the fringe of mainstream politics, but they're actually pretty normal in Silicon Valley. Google and other huge companies have invested billions of dollars in life extension research, and drugs have already been developed that can dramatically lengthen the lifespans of mice in a lab. Some scientists believe it's only a matter of time before we can do the same with humans.
One of the main things we're out here trying to do, though, is convince a public that is broadly unaware that the 21st century is going to be ushering in technologies that are going to be changing the species. Without a physical presence, historically speaking, movements have not succeeded. Everyone knows that I don't have much chance of winning, but it's really not about that. It's about spreading the transhumanist movement, its ideologies, its agendas.
There must have been some conversion moment. There must have been something that brought you from here to there.
Well, I had one incident when I was working for the National Geographic Channel in Vietnam. I was covering a story on bomb diggers in the demilitarized zone. A whole bunch of farmers now dedicate their time to digging up unexploded ordnances that the U.S. dropped on them because they can sell the metal. But it's a very dangerous job because the entire demilitarized zone is still filled with landmines. After about a week, it's so nerve-wracking every day going out with a camera and filming people thinking you might step on a landmine. Well, I came to one bend in the road where my guide behind me literally tackled me and pushed me to the ground and pointed out that there was a half-buried landmine. I sort of just flipped out. And I flipped out in the sense where I said, I'm kind of done covering conflict zones. I want to dedicate my life to something where I can overcome death, because it should not be acceptable in the 21st century that we can just lose our lives so simply. Life is just too beautiful to lose it so easily. I have dedicated myself as somebody who wants to change the real structure of society because I'm afraid that if I don't, not only am I going to die, but people around me that I love are going to die. It's not just me I'm trying to fight for. It's for the children I have so that they can also live indefinitely. We all have people that we care about. We're trying to save them.
It's still a small political and social movement, but like that's kind of how they all start, right? I'm personally interested in seeing whether they can leverage this campaign into something that actually makes transhumanism and some of their themes of life extension, genome editing, designer babies, that makes these issues part of the American political conversation, even just because people might actually start asking the major candidates some of these kinds of questions.
This is the moment in time. This is the time to make a transhumanist wager. The next 20 years is going to determine whether we can live indefinitely or not. So we really need to pick it up. And I mean pick it up like this is the race of a lifetime right now.
What the odds?